Community building. It is the beginning of what you want to do at the beginning of the school year, but you can use it at any time. They're going to create relationships and trust through icebreakers. Kids are going to be sharing a lot, telling stories. It's going to be wonderful. You'll establish a foundation for safety, positivity, and support. All of a sudden, though, things are going to feel different. You're going to foster social engagement and communication, lots of talking, and ensure that all students are seen and heard. This is really big. Especially if the kids are shy and they stay invisible. This is actually going to help them be more visible and think about being visible. It's going to be great. All right, we're going to start with lesson one. Lesson one are the classroom agreements. We've got 4 steps. Opening question. The best way to start the school year. Opening question is, what's the story behind your name? Do a tiny teach, which gives us a little positive experience about things that are exciting to share among each other. Say, hey, I know how to say a few words in another language, or I know a dance move. And then you use that in your group agreements to say, what are the best conditions to learn? And if there's extra time, then you add, are you like this or are you like that? It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, here we go. Opening question. What is the story behind your name? This is there's nuances to make this work well. Students can tell them you can share who they're named after. About 30-40% of the kids will say that. Students can share a story about how their parents came up with their name. Many students will also say that. You want to give these as examples. I always say, a friend of mine, this is my favorite story. It's not my favorite story, but it's a story that gets kids to say, all right, I don't have to say something too deep, but I can say something. I say, for the longest time, my name was David. And they go, oh, okay, David, first name. And I go, but then one day, this Peter Archer, a friend of mine, when I was 9 years old, said, David, I don't like that. Your name is Dave. And I use that little gesture. And I go, okay, that was Dave from now on. And they all say, okay, I could tell a story like that. So that's the one I share and I model. Also, you can say students can share whether the name has personal meaning to them. Some will say yes. Others will say, well, yeah, I don't really like my name. And if students don't know a story behind their name, they can share the way a parent says their name when they are mad at them. So that's your fail through. Say, hey, look, if you have nothing to say, and I go, and I always say, my mother says, Dave, and I go, every kid has a version of that. And, they'll have something to say when you do that first go around. It usually takes 10 minutes. Sometimes it can be a little less. Sometimes it can be a little more. Because it's the opening question, just go with however long it takes. Assuming one kid doesn't do a whole lecture series on their name. That hasn't happened to me in 20 years. Anyway, Tiny Teach Activity 2. This is the one. This is the crucial lesson. This is what you want to start with. You introduce the game. Say, hey, we're going to do Tiny Teach. Notice the tiny. We're going to teach a lot. Students will have 2 minutes, not longer, to teach someone else in the class something that is easy to learn. The illustration shows a dance move. Then you give examples. Make it really simple. Not a lot of instructions. It's really simple. Give an example of teaching that would be easy to learn, such as teach a few words in another language you might share. But hey, not the entire language, please. Or teach a dance move, but not an entire choreography. Making a joke, you're just going to teach a little bit of something. Teach a recipe, but not the whole cookbook. Or teach a strategy for a video game. A lot of kids have something for this, but not all of them. Okay, so everybody says, everybody has something. Make sure everyone has something to teach. If a student seems stuck, you look around, they're not sure. Ask them to teach something related to what they like to do. This is also a great opportunity to say, okay, you don't know what to teach? What do you like to do? And they say, well, this, and say, great, teach something about that. If they still don't know, ask them to teach a technique they use for getting something they want from a parent. So this is, most kids have that. Okay, everybody says they had something great. All right, have students pair up. Say, all right, find somebody, stand up, please, find somebody. And they usually just stand up and face the person next to them. Who does not have somebody? Okay, you match up. All right, then look at the 2 people, say, all right, raise your hand if you're student A. And one of them will raise their hand. Raise your hand if you're student B. The other one raises their hand and say, all right, student A, you have 2 minutes to teach student B something, go. And then 2 minutes, you see a lot of activity, that's great. After 2 minutes, you say, all right, student B is now your turn. Teach something to student A. And you'll notice some will, you walk around, you sort of say, all right, that's really interesting, it's really cool. Let them know that you're watching them. And at the end of the second 2 minutes, you say, all right, now find somebody else. Everybody look around, find someone you've not worked with, and you switch, and then who's student A, who's student B, and then you do it again. I like doing it 3 times. You can do it more, you can do it less, but at least 2 times. At the end, you could say, what was it like to teach someone else? And what did you learn about teaching? These are crucial questions because this is going to introduce the next topic. Teacher note, this game can be used at the beginning of the year before discussing classroom norms. That's going to be the next group agreements. classroom rules, whatever you want to call it. I love this as to come right beforehand, because this gives the kids experience. Hey, I can have a positive experience of learning, and this is what's kind of fun. Usually kids will say it's fun. They'll say respect, and it leads into the next exercise. Speaking of which, let's go to activity 3. All right. We ask, what makes, I'm going to have a little bit of chai. Thank you. All right. Ask, what made Tiny Teach a positive learning experience? Ask what agreements we can make so everyone can have a positive learning experience in the class all year. So kids will usually say things like respect, be kind to each other, support, and things like this. Write these agreements on a sheet of chart paper or on a whiteboard. Then ask which agreements can be consolidated. So almost all the time, there's going to be a list of 15, 18 agreements. That's too much. You want to break it down to about 5 or 6 when possible. And this is the best thing I learned from Cameo Thorne in Connecticut. Amazing SEL and restorative justice person. She said, ask students to give a thumbs up or thumbs down for each agreement. So here, it's not just we came to agreement, we're actually saying that dissent is okay. But we take it to the next level. We don't just say dissent's okay. If any student gives a thumbs down, ask them to explain their reasoning and suggest what works better for them. This is amazing. So in this way, we're not just giving visibility to someone who might not want that things are not working for them. They are actually being pushed to come up with something that does work for them. And that's going to be crucial as you look upon these agreements in the future. Say, okay, if it doesn't work, what will work? And then a discussion starts. So that's democracy, right? You facilitate a discussion. Number 7, facilitate a discussion about it until a consensus for a complete list of agreements is reached. Take as much time as you need. If you need 2 lessons to do this, that's fine. This is everything about social emotional learning. This is everything about building community. This is all about saying, hey, we're all here together, and then write the new set of agreements on chart paper. You could have students sign it. I generally do, but that's not so important. At the end, one way to get everybody to, you could use popcorn style, or you can get everybody say, hey, what's the most important agreement to you? Okay, so this could be done once, or it could be done weekly. It could be done monthly. It could be done when things don't go right. It's funny, when administrators will say, oh, something's wrong in your classroom, refer them to the agreements. Oh, God. Won't get into that. But what does work is to say, okay, what in the agreements does not work for you? Because clearly something is wrong. I wouldn't just refer to it when things are wrong. It gives the wrong energy. But when things are problematic, it can be useful to say, okay, what do you need? And the more we get into what students need and get out of the blaming and punitive matters, the better the classroom's going to go, the better community is going to go, and you're really teaching them amazing life skills. All right. You might or might not have time, depending on how you do this. If you do have time, I love this last little game that's fun. Are you like this or are you like that? Here you'll divide this class into groups of 4 to 5 students, pose a question, and have each member of the group answer and explain their choice. These are some example questions. You can use any of them. Are you more like the sun or the moon? Are you more like a highway or a side street? I'm definitely a highway. Are you more like a tree or a flower? I'm a cactus, I think. You can let them be creative. Are you more like a river or ocean? Are you more like a breakfast or dinner? So here you're getting into a little bit more group work. Some kids will share, some kids won't. Most kids will have to think about it. At some point, you might say, some students will say, I don't know, and say, choose one, if you had to choose. And more important than this is actually the reflection, which says, did the group maintain the classroom agreements in this activity? You can do this for this activity. You can do this for the rest of the school year, and talk about, okay, were we respectful? Did we take turns? And if you did, great. And if not, what might we need to change in the agreements? All right. Homework is great. Notice how the classroom agreements affected the learning environment of the class, whether it's your class or throughout if the class stays together, how it stayed throughout the day. All right. That is lesson 1, everybody. This is a great start. Get ready for lesson 2.